I believe. There we go. Okay, so today's discussion is going to be about ancestors, ancestry, an important thing to a lot of us. Right? If you'll excuse me, I'm going to take a moment at the altar, light some incense, say a prayer or two. Anyway, give me just a moment. Thank you for the gifts upon which you have given, on which you have granted me the strength and the perseverance. Thank you for all that I have and for my family. Thank you for your watchfulness, dearest Father. It's a good timing with the song. Hail to the Rökkatru. Hail to Loki. Hail to the tribes. I ask the Rökkatru, watch over the tribes, bless them and keep them safe. Show to me, my heart knows, and thereby you know. Thank you. Grant them as they need. My thanks. With the lighting of this incense, may my words be carried to God. May the smoke reach the twilight. Hail to all. Alright, sorry that. Anyway, ancestors. Now, when most people think of ancestors, they think of, oh, I don't know, people way back in time. The knights, the peasants, the Norsemen going a Viking, Norsewomen going a Viking. Let's face it, folks. That's not everybody. Morning, Lexi. That's everybody wants to think and dwell on ancestors that were absolutely outstanding. Hello, Hakan. Guess what? In a lot of times, when it comes to honoring the ancestors, we forget. We don't think. And we often leave out the simple ones. Often when you go to a bloat or stumble, you are going to hear names, specific names, known ancestors. So, let's look at it this way, folks. Odin and his brothers, according to our path, are the ones who created us. From driftwood and mud and fire. And from there we went. And do you know the name of every ancestor you have back to then? No. I sure don't. I'm sorry, Raven. But that's why, quite often, when I am doing an ancestor rite or remembrance, I ask simply for the forgotten. I ask to honor those that greatest deed was they survived. Because without them, Without those ancestors, none of us would be here. The peasant working the field, the slave working under a master, or in our lineage, the thralls working under chieftains, kings. Without them, we wouldn't be here. Technically, because of the lore, all of us can trace our ancestry back to the gods. Technically. Doesn't necessarily mean that we are God-born. Quite often people look at me and think I'm something special. I'm not. I'm but a man who's walked a single path for most of his life. But anyway, when it comes to ancestors, people also tend to think backwards. Okay, that's fine. Those that come before. But what about those ancestors that are still living? What about our parents, our grandparents, uncles and cousins, aunts? All of these people who touch our lives. They're important. And then we're not even getting into the spiritual ancestors as yet. I'm talking about those you feel are family by spirit, if not blood. When you make the connection like that, they become part of your lineage, your spiritual lineage. And thereby they become part of your ancestors. So don't forget them either. If you don't have blood family, you had one at one point, whether you like them or not. And unfortunately, that really is the case for me in some regards. I still have my father, thankfully. He's still around. And I love that old man. I love that old man dearly. But I have no more aunts, uncles. I've got a couple of cousins. One's made me very proud. He has become a professor of quantum physics and is a teacher at a college. Pretty damn fancy, if you ask me. Pretty damn smart. I've got sisters. I've got a brother left. These are my ancestors. They're blood. But you know what? Growing up, I did volunteer work. And a lot of times, it was to the disabled and the elderly. And they were always very appreciative of the work we did. I have gotten very close with one particular elderly woman. I was 15, 16, and she was the sweetest woman. Her name was Gladys. I'm 45 and I still remember her name. As far as I was concerned, she was my grandma. I have been adopted, so to speak, into another family because I have been friends with that family for so long. I consider them family. I consider mom, mom. So, through that family, I have brothers. Now here's the thing when it comes to ancestors, folks. And we're still just talking on the Midgard realm, past, present, and future. Because one day, we will be ancestors. I have 3 children. They're part of my ancestry. They're part of my lineage. Yes, even my shithead son. Uh, yes, Raven, I see your comment. Yes, my dad is amazing. Anyway, I'm concerned for them, but I work hard in order to become someone that they can look at and be proud to have as an ancestor. I try to be the person that family has, tribe has, and will remember. If my name goes down in infamy with some, then I did something right. You're not making progress if you don't make enemies. Let's face it, folks, truth speakers, we tend to make a few. Now, deep into the beliefs and the lore, and this is heathenry, not just particularly Rökkatru, but deep into the lore, yes, when we pass, our spirit goes to one of the halls. I hate to tell y'all out there, Valhalla, not very likely. Not unless you are a soldier and you are dying in the middle of a fight. Now, there are exceptions. Battle cancer for 5 years, I'm pretty sure that counts. If you were fighting to stay alive and didn't give up, pretty sure that counts. But even Valhalla's not assured then, because half the dead and half the slain go to Freya. Most of us will wind up in Helheim. Personally, I'm opting for Jotunheim. And I'm looking forward to it in a way. But there are some ancestors that can choose to become, some believe, whites, Landvetter, Homevetter, and be with us every day. There are whites that follow us, stick with us from our blood, from our spirit. So, please folks, bear this in mind. They are with us constantly. No, not in that pervy way, though I'm sure we've all got that one ancestor. But they hear us. They hear us when we speak of them. Our words are carried to them. Remember that. Remember them. Remember, just because you didn't know their name doesn't mean they weren't important. And it doesn't mean that you're not important. You have no idea how you may touch a life. You have no idea because you touched someone's life and did something good, whether you knew it or not. Because of that, that can cause a chain reaction, and they will go on and may do something good for another, and another, and another. And when your time comes, you become an ancestor spirit that has touch 1,000 lives and never even known it. So listen to people. Listen to the spirits. Listen to your heart. Trust in your instincts. Science gives us all this genetic explanation, biological chemistry, everything like that. And while I put stock in it, yes, I believe in it, yes, I believe it's real, I also put stock in the spiritual side. Who we are isn't only shaped by our bloodlines. It's not only shaped by our parents and our siblings and whether or not we had a good, bad, abused, rough, wonderful, rich, poor childhood. It's also shaped by the people around us, by that spiritual family. And in fact, for many of us, that spiritual family can actually be much, much more important. For some of us, that spiritual family may be the only family we have. And that, folks, that is okay. That is perfectly fine. So when you are at your altar, whether you are Ancestor, Rökkatru, Wiccan, or any of the other pagan paths, I ask this of you. Spare a thought. Spare a moment in your heart for those that came before and simply survived. You can leave offerings. You can light as many candles as you want. Burn as much incense as you want. But they see what's in our hearts. They hear our words, yes, but they also know what's in the heart behind those words. So, by the way, if you can hear the music playing in the background, it's just to help me kind of stay focused. I own no copyrights to any of said music, legal stuff, all that. Anyway, folks, that takes us to how we honor the ancestors. That's up to you. You see, not only am I Rökkatru, I'm located. So what this means is that it's entirely up to you. And I honor my ancestors by calling my dad every now and then. Just check, just talk. I spare a moment of thought for those that are gone, for those that are still here. And there's a very modern way that we honor ancestors in this day and age. And that is through pictures and videos. When they're gone, well, when they leave this plane, they leave behind in this modern day more than just a name and deed. They leave behind pictures. They leave behind videos. What would our great-great-grandparents have given to have a photo of their parents? To keep it. For many of us, that's important. For those of us that don't, that have had to live in toxic, nasty, abusive environments growing up? No, of course you don't want to remember those people. You want to cut them off as quick as you can. Get the hell away from them. Cut and burn those ties! Pat it to the ground! Anyway, sorry about that. But that's when the spiritual family comes into play. Members of your pack, your tribe. When they pass, how do you remember them? With pictures, with gifts they have sent. And it's wonderful. Recently, my tribe, my group, Rökkatru Rising, lost a member. Her name was Melanie Midgard, and she lost her battle with depression. It was not right that she left, and the cause of it was an outside source that decided to push too many buttons. And that's all I'm going to say. But before she passed, she sent me a couple of things. One is kind of permanently attached, but the other is this beautiful cloth. And I keep it wrapped and protected with a gift from another spiritual family, Kate and Michael. But Melanie actually got to go to the land of the foxes. And she got me this beautiful cloth. It stays protected by the badger, kept safe, and on my altar. This way, the badger's spirit will always watch over her. At least in my mind. She will always have this resolve and strength. So how do you honor them? How do you remember them? Folks, it's not hard to do. You know what? Veterans Day. Let's go with modern America and some of our modern holidays, and how to revere ancestors during that time. Okay, we'll start with Veterans Day. Feast of the Fallen. That's what we call it in my home. And we have a feast. And we always set out a spare plate to represent the ancestors that didn't make it home from war. Let them know that they're remembered on that day. Halloween, Walpurgisnacht, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Modern America, folks, just remember this. That one, yeah, that, what can I say, Samhain is the time when it's thinnest, and our minds go to the spiritual. Of course, it's to the creepy and the spooky, and some of us live it 24/7, 365. No, I am not judging. I would if I could. But, anyway, next, Yule. Yuletide. Give a present. Gift giving is a huge part of heathenry. So, instead of the simple offering or a sacrifice, wrap a box. Make a present. Take the time to do it. And leave it under your tree, under your pole, whatever you put up and however you celebrate, hang a spare stocking. Moving forward. Springtime. Time of rebirth. Ostara. All of that. That's the time to freshen those memories. Just as spring is renewal. Renew your ties to the ancestors. Summer. Heat is oppressive here. But many people, especially the able-bodied, get out and about. And it's wonderful. I wish I could join you. As you can see the bright shining light behind me, I have no artificial lights on right now. Just, oh my god, it's bright. Anyway, folks, during the summer, if there was a tradition that your family held and now you're missing someone, they've gone on, well, tell stories about them. It doesn't have to be hurtful. Not at all. There is a way to incorporate ancestors into every holiday, every daily ritual, every daily prayer. I simply, in my morning devotions, thank those that have come before. And when I say that, I mean those before me. When I say that in my heart, I'm talking about not only blood, but the spirit as well. So, while your day goes by, and you've got these opportunities, stop and think about it. If you notice an odd habit about yourself, stop and go, where'd that come from? Who'd I pick that up from? I know that one of the reasons I have attention to detail is because not of genetics, not because of blood family, but because of my brother, my spirit brother, one of them, Jason. That man can notice the tiniest detail. And just by so long friends with him, and being as close as we are, I've kind of picked up that habit. You never know where you will pick something up from. Good habits, bad habits. So, remember those who've come before. Yes. But remember those who still are here. It can be, like I said before, it doesn't have to be parents or blood. Spiritual elders, those you consider leaders, priests, aunts, uncles, fathers, daughters, mothers, sons, brothers, sisters. Missing them, feeling that longing inside. I see that personally as an honoring to them. I miss them. When I'm unable to spend time digitally, I miss all of my tribe. I miss those I love. And now, due to this pandemic, we are limited in what we can do when we go out. Unfortunate, but it is the way of the world at this point. And there's not much that can be done about it. So, we make do. Tell stories, folks. Write them down. Share them. The heathen way is an oral tradition. That's why we have so many problems with not only, the way things were done, how they were done, but also why we have problems with the runes, everything like that. And that's a whole argument for an entirely different video. So a lot of this, yes, a lot of this is unverified personal gnosis for many of us. But folks, if we start putting this all together, if we start coming together, especially for my Rökkatru folks, we are the bastard children of heathenry. We are the newest branch, or the oldest, depending on how you look at it. We don't have much to go by. So, honor the ancestors. Speak to them. Tell their stories. Tell their stories. Share them. And if someone asks, and if it's not too painful, share your story. Some of you folks out there are going to be my ancestors, or are my ancestors. What's your story? What's your tale? How will you be remembered? Just remember, folks, they listen. They hear you. So thank them. Thank the whites. Thank the land better. Thank them all. Energy doesn't die, folks. It only changes form. That's all for now. We will see you next time. Much love.